Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Thursday afternoon at San Diego Comic-Con. This is Michelle, and I am in the Dark Horse booth. And today I'm joined by Paul Tobin and Colleen Coover. Coover, correct. Thank you. And I'm excited because they have been nominated again for a Will Eisner Award for BANDETTE, and I'm very excited because I just read the first volume, and you've actually got the third volume that's just come out. Could you tell us a little bit more about this series?
Well, it's about the greatest thief in the world, BANDETTE. She lives in France. She has a lot of friends that help her out with her capers and hijinks. She's somewhat like a Nancy Drew type character if Nancy Drew were a super thief instead of a clever detective. It also has elements of a lot of European comics that we have enjoyed and remembered inaccurately. What else?
Tintin was a big
Tintin.
influence, I think, and things like that. But a lot of it's like the heist movies of the 40s and 50s.
To Catch a Thief, How to Steal a Million is a big one for me.
Back when the thieves were like charming, like all modern heist movies, the people are like jerks and you know, guns and shooting. But like I wanted like a charming thief.
Yeah, there's a lot of the 60s get sort of mooshed in, but it's not...
Matt Helm movies and things like that.
Or, what's it, what was the James Coburn one, the spy one? Never mind. Never mind, it was a thing and it was really cool.
But a little bit of Modesty Blaze, things like that as well.
Or Diabolique. There are a lot of...
Oh, I love that film.
There are a lot of influences in BANDETTE.
Yeah, when we were approached to make BANDETTE, my friend Chris Roberson was starting Monkey Brain, and he's like, just do whatever you want, and we went, let's do everything we want. We just like put it in, and we wanted to make sure we were having the most fun possible. Because I've, you know, over the time, like when I really connect to something that I'm reading or watching or listening to, like the love of the creator is always what comes through for me. So whenever I try to create anything, I try to make sure that I love what I'm doing, and then I figure it just kind of comes through. So, so like the initial audience for me is always me. You know, I need to love it, and BANDETTE's probably the prime example of that.
And what is the third volume about?
Let's see.
Which one is that?
Wait, I have to...
Oh, that's the House of the Green Mask.
The House of the Green Mask. The House of the Green Mask is about a quest for a mysterious cache of art, like a legendary art collection that has been amassed by a woman from like the late 1800s who is sort of fabled in herself. She was
very
like
mysterious. Yes.
The courtesan of kings and artists and
I'm fascinated with like the Impressionists, not just for their art, but the whole society they had. When you think of like in terms of today, like you know, I have a lot of friends that do comics, and they give me art. Well, in the past, if you know, like you were friends with like Degas, he would give you like 6 or 7 paintings, and now in the modern time, if it's like, oh yeah, I was friends with all those guys, they gave me 6 or 7 paintings, and it's like, well, those are like $250 million each. So like the art amasses.
And also at the time, they were like totally punk rock.
Yeah, they were like a punk rock group. Yeah.
So there's this woman whose collection is fabled, and a lot of people try to find clues to find the House of the Green
Mask. This lost
Mask.
collection of art from a woman.
And there's a kidnapping.
There's kidnappings, yeah.
Villains are introduced in that one.
In a way, it's loosely based on my love of an artist named Suzanne Valadon, who was a great artist in her own right, just a fantastic artist. But she also posed for like a lot of Renoir and Degas and a whole bunch of other people. Toulouse-Lautrec. Yeah. So she was a model for them as well, and was part of this group. And it's like, like I say, the art interchanged and model/lover of a lot of these people. So it's like, then grandma's art collection. It's like,
Well, I know in reading the introduction to the first volume, Paul Cornell mentioned about the concept of freedom within the comics, and I mean, I really got that sense. Could you talk to me a little bit about some of the challenges and benefits of working in kind of a period time? Because it seems like you just really captured that kind of free spirit of the 60s.
Yeah, we try to keep it really timeless in a way. Like we never set a date. There are cell phones, but at the same time, man, you won't see too many cars designed past like the 50s cars and the 60s cars, or like, so it's like sort
For
of
one thing, those are funner to
they're
draw.
much funner to draw. That architecture, and that's part of why it all happens in France as well, is because we've spent time in France, and it feels, you can walk into sections and it just feels timeless,
But also, I mean, part of the way we achieve that is by that sort of inaccurate memory of the things that we loved as kids. We're sort of, I don't want to say it's false nostalgia, but it's definitely nostalgia based. So we're not trying to recreate Tintin. We're trying to sort of channel Tintin.
We create the love that we had.
Right.
Tintin, actually, I can go back and read really well, but like a lot of the stuff that I'd read when I was a kid, I'll have this huge joy of, and then I'll go back and read it and go, that's not very good. But the European comics hold up pretty well for me, Asterix and things like that. So we're not trying to capture any like, let's be like that, as much as let's capture the enjoyment and the love of it.
We don't do a lot of research.
Well,
I mean, we do,
that would show,
but
though.
it's not.
It rings true.
We do research, but we don't remain. We don't try
we're not
to
beholden to it.
Yeah, this isn't a documentary.
That's part of why we never talk about it being in France either, or in Paris.
Not in Paris,
Because we don't want people to say, well, Bandette left such and such street, and 10 minutes later she was at this place.
Yes.
And that's impossible. And it's like, but we don't care.
Yeah.
Because the charming and the love of it is what we want to come across. Not
There's one actual location in Bandette, and that's Père Lachaise Cemetery.
Yeah, because we spent a lot of time there and loved it. So
yeah, we wandered around when we.
I'm a big Oscar Wilde fan, so I had to go visit Oscar Wilde's grave.
So, as you are also a couple, how is it working on this comic together? I mean, because you also have your own projects that you work on, but what kind of joy do you have with working on Bandette together?
Well, I don't work any different on Bandette than I do on anything. I don't even talk about a script or a storyline before I send it to her. The one thing that's really different, and it's not because we're a couple, it's just because she's really good, is that I can go a little more in depth in characters and things like that, and like I can do, like in one panel, like this person is scared and yet hopeful, and Colleen can pull that off. And she can also do a lot more panels per page than a lot of artists.
Yeah, well, you're not afraid of challenging me.
That was part of our early, because like it used to be when I wrote her a script, I would always put in like purposely put in 2 or 3 things that I knew she hated to draw.
That is true.
Do you still do that?
Yeah,
he
he does.
Much. Oh, I didn't think I did.
Well, sometimes.
But that's how she learned. You know?
And also you know my limitations, and you know how far to push them, and whether or not I'm going to push back, and I mean. You know what I like to draw, and you know where I want to go with this, and I know where you want to go with this, and in that way we work together.
She's very intuitive.
Very well.
Working with her.
But again, otherwise our jobs are completely separate. I update you on my art occasionally, and as I work, and you do not want me to know. Well, I don't actually want to know the script before I'm ready to draw it, because otherwise I'd be like, I'm not done with this one, but I want to get on to that one. So.
Oh, okay. So you guys don't even just really discuss the script.
Not
it's
since
just in bits. Okay.
Not since before you started writing it. I think we talked about some characters. Like BD Belgique was my character that I did for my sketch blog.
Yeah, BD Belgique, the big nose detective, was actually the very first character, even before Bandette.
Right.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then I think I designed Monsieur because I just wanted to draw that guy.
He's such a cool guy.
I like him a lot.
He's really classy.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I think otherwise, yeah. And you've let me design a lot of the characters, like when
you designed all of them.
Yeah, I mean, you haven't like suggested anything for any of them. I think that's been like where we collaborate the most is
character design.
Design because he leaves that entirely up to me, and that informs the character as he writes it in the future. So.
They're great characters. I love them. I have to go back and get volume 2 and 3 now. So, can you tell me what's coming next for both of you, together and maybe a little bit separate?
Well, Bandette is pretty much what she works on full time.
Yep.
I have a new series from Oni coming out called Made Men, which is sort of gangsters and the Frankenstein myth. It's called Made Men because she actually makes the men, and it's like the duality of made men gangsters and then the made men. Trying to think if I can actually talk about any of the other stuff.
There's so many things. Novels.
Novels, yeah. I have a series of novels coming out, The Genius Factor, A Boy Genius and a Girl Adventurer.
And you're continuing with Plants vs. Zombies.
So much more Plants vs. Zombies on the way.
Good.
Just unbelievable. I think I'm booked on Plants vs. Zombies graphic novels through 2021 maybe, so
you heard it here first, folks, let me tell you.
But yeah, I mostly work on Bandette. I did a nonfiction thing for a psychiatric hospital, which was about schizophrenia and how it affects patients and their surroundings, but yeah,
she's primarily Bandette.
Just Bandette all the time.
She's my favorite artist to work with, but she's not the fastest artist I work with.
No, that's very true. I am very slow. I am an artisan.
Well, I do have to ask Paul, because I'm a Witcher fan, so what do we have coming up with Witcher?
Oh, I can't talk about anything in that sphere.
Oh, shucks. Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it.
I do love writing Witcher, though, so
and I love reading it.
Thank you.
But anyway, again, congratulations on your nomination. I will have bated breath, hoping that I'll get to hear your names. So, where can we find you on social media for those of us that are not able to be here this week?
I'm pretty much primarily on Twitter, just Paul Tobin on Twitter.
And paultobin.net.
Paultobin.net, yes.
Okay. Yep. I'm ColleenCoover.net and also at Colleen Coover on Twitter. And also the Urchin stories are on Bandette.net, which are the free previews of short stories by different artists that Paul writes that are sort of like in the middle of
I wanted to focus
chapters.
Like smaller stories on some of the side characters, because I think it's important to have Bandette live in a world. Yes. And also there's just a slew of artists that I want to work with, and sometimes you can't say, let's do a graphic novel. They go, I don't have time. It's like, give me 2 pages, and they can do that.
Well, and I noticed that sorry to take a little bit more time, but I have noticed that you actually wrote about Daniel in Volume 1, like a little bit more of an essay.
I do short stories in like every of the... Yeah, those are fun for me to do.
Yeah, it really gives us a bit more on the characters,
too. I love
that.
delving into character.
Yeah. Well, thank you both very, very much.